Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we are unpacking some absolutely massive news straight out of Google's AI labs regarding their brand new Gemini 3.6 Flash model. If you build with AI, you know developers are constantly wrestling with this impossible balancing act. How do you get high intelligence, blazing speed, and low cost all at the same time? Well, we're going to focus heavily today on 3.6 Flash's performance and cost, and explore exactly how this new model unlocks what we can call the AI scaling paradox.
So what if the smartest AI actually cost you less? It kind of sounds like a trick question, right? I mean, in the world of computing, and especially in generative AI, there's been this stubborn, unspoken rule. We've all basically just accepted the assumption that scaling up an AI's intelligence inherently requires scaling up your computing costs. If you want a model to reason better, code better, and parse complex documents, you naturally expect to pay a huge premium for it. But we are entering a totally new era where capability and cost are no longer moving in the exact same direction.
Okay, let's dive into this. Historically, the assumption was super simple. Higher intelligence inherently meant higher cost. And this has been a massive, frustrating bottleneck for developers. You might have this brilliant idea for a complex AI application, but the latency, the time it takes for the model to actually respond, and the sheer cost of running it at scale just make it impossible to deploy. But 3.6 Flash introduces a completely new reality: higher intelligence paired with lower cost. It's not just some incremental minor update, it literally changes the fundamental math of what you can afford to build.
Now, to really get why this cost and speed breakthrough is such a game changer, we have to look at how AI is actually being used today. The big buzzword right now is agentic workflows. Think of it like hiring a tireless digital intern. Instead of just asking a chatbot a single question and getting a single answer, developers are building these dynamic systems where the AI operates autonomously in multi-step loops. Imagine asking that intern to research a topic, write a report, verify its own facts, and then format the final document. It's constantly thinking, using tools, and generating text in a continuous loop. For these agents to work in the real world without completely bankrupting the creator, you absolutely require high token efficiency and low latency. The AI has to be incredibly fast, and it has to use its computing resources really sparingly on every single step. Well, here's a number that changes things: 17. A crucial factor in making these workflows viable is a 17% reduction in output token usage compared to its predecessor, 3.5 Flash. Why does that matter? It means the model is just far less verbose. Actually, scratch that. It's more like working with a coworker who finally stops writing you those 3-page emails and just gives you the exact bullet points you need. When you drop 3.6 Flash into one of those autonomous agentic workflows, it literally takes fewer reasoning steps and fewer tool calls to accomplish the exact same complex, multi-step task. It gets straight to the point. And in the world of AI, fewer tokens generated means massive, massive savings in both time and computing power. And, as you'd hope, that efficiency translates directly to the wallet. Gemini 3.6 Flash is priced at a totally game-changing $1.50 per 1 million input tokens and $7.50 per 1 million output tokens. Google hasn't just made the model more efficient, they've actually lowered the price tag compared to 3.5 Flash. To put that into perspective, when your autonomous AI agents are running loops day and night, this radically reduced cost per task is literally the difference between a prototype that just sits collecting dust in a lab and a product that you can actually launch to millions of users. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about in the real world. In terms of capability, 3.6 Flash leaps to 49% on the DeepSuite software engineering benchmark by DataCurve, which is up from 37%. Translating those benchmark numbers into real-world developer wins means you are getting significantly higher precision. The model makes fewer unwanted code edits and drastically reduces the number of execution loops needed to actually get the code right. It is a massive step up in coding ability, all while operating at that super low cost we just talked about.
But hey, it's not just about writing code, right? On the MLE bench, which evaluates machine learning research tasks, we see a massive jump from 49.7% with 3.5 Flash all the way up to a really impressive 63.9% with 3.6 Flash. This just proves the model is significantly smarter across broad knowledge work. Developers are finding 3.6 Flash incredibly capable at complex multimodal tasks, things like parsing incredibly dense documents, analyzing charts and financial data, and drafting comprehensive reports. It's handling high-level knowledge synthesis with a level of accuracy that simply was not available at this price tier before. No way.
Let's move to Pro and see how this builds out an entire ecosystem. This whole breakthrough in efficiency has basically allowed Google to build out a family of models tailored for highly specific needs. So while 3.6 Flash acts as the workhorse, perfectly balancing high quality and low cost for heavy-duty tasks, it's now joined by two specialized siblings. We have the Speedster, which is Gemini 3.5 Flash-Lite, engineered to be blazing fast and ultra cheap. And we have the Security Guard, Gemini 3.5 Flash Cyber, which is hyper-specialized for finding and patching software vulnerabilities. Let's break these two new siblings down.
First up, the Speedster. We're talking about Gemini 3.5 Flash-Lite, and it pumps out a staggering 350 output tokens per second. I mean, that makes it the fastest model in the entire 3.5 series. When developers are building features like agentic search or massive document processing pipelines, high throughput is the absolute most critical factor. It is designed precisely for those high-volume, low-latency tasks where literally every single millisecond counts, essentially giving the AI the reflexes of a race car driver.
So the crucial point is that you aren't trading away brains for all that speed. 3.5 Flash-Lite actually beats the older, larger Gemini 3 Flash on highly rigorous benchmarks like SUE Bench Pro and OS World Verified. And it does this at an almost unbelievable price point of just 30 cents per 1 million input tokens. 30 cents. It offers a price-to-performance ratio that is practically unheard of for developers running massive, high-throughput production traffic. It even has compute use built in as a client-side tool to reliably support all these agentic tasks.
Okay, now let's pivot over to the Security Guard, 3.5 Flash Cyber. As AI models become capable of finding security flaws way faster than humans can fix them, we need highly efficient AI to defend our software. Flash Cyber is fine-tuned specifically for finding and fixing critical vulnerabilities. It operates within a system called CodeMender, where multiple Flash Cyber agents actually orchestrate together to produce a single, unified security report. It reaches highly competitive, frontier-level performance on the CyberGym benchmark. But because of the super-sensitive, dual-use nature of cyber technology, Google is keeping this one tightly controlled, offering it first via an exclusive pilot program for governments and trusted partners to give frontline defenders a critical head start. Now, alongside these huge capability upgrades, it's absolutely crucial to mention the guardrails. Google has integrated rigorous safety protocols. 3.6 Flash is shipping with enhanced safeguards specifically targeting chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and cyber offense misuses. The stated goal here is to impartially ensure the models are substantially more resistant to jailbreaks or malicious prompting. This just ensures that as the barrier to entry for building complex AI drops, the safety rails remain robustly in place.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. With the arrival of Gemini 3.6 Flash and its sibling models, the landscape of software development has fundamentally shifted. The old scaling paradox? It's been unlocked. We are looking at AI agents that are simultaneously faster, vastly cheaper, and measurably smarter. The financial and latency bottlenecks that held back incredible ideas just a few short months ago are completely dissolving. So I'll leave you with this. What will you build when the only limit is your imagination? The tools are now totally accessible. The rest is up to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.